Hey everyone, and welcome back. Okay, so I hope you've had a chance to catch your breath over the last few weeks. Last night, I stuck my head out the window just before bed and was completely overtaken by the scent of gorgeous summer air. That newly mowed lawn and real, heady silence. Just a little reminder, pop your head out of your everyday routine. There is actual magic everywhere. Okay, right into it. So this week I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for a while, but learning to dress in my 30s. When I was younger, I used to buy clothes without really thinking. I'd buy stuff that looked trendy or cool and just sort of piece together whatever made sense. I looked fine, but also definitely led to some moments like these. So 10-year-old Amira spent weeks on this outfit, and I'm fairly certain that everything in here was taken from my sister or my aunt's wardrobe. It's probably also worth mentioning at this point that I grew up with an older sister and an aunt who was closer in age to us than our mum, so I had a lot of hand-me-downs growing up. They were both really into fashion, so a lot of the stuff that I got given or inherited was a full outfit that had already been kind of planned out. So when I became a teenager, I definitely went through a serious phase when I was like, fashion, whatever. I was awkward and self-conscious and not at all enjoying puberty. And often I underdressed because I just couldn't be bothered and because I was trying to make some kind of weird statement about it. I'd wear things like an oversized man's tourist t-shirt from Dubai, lovingly called Dubs, and no makeup, and I made it a point not to brush my hair. There's actually an interesting side story about how I had this one tangled knot in my hair and kept shoving it into the middle of my ponytail until I came home and my mum spent hours combing it out. But I digress. So when I went off to college, I experimented with lots of weird and wacky things. I wore dresses that I'd had made in India or play suits and jumpers and other things that I saw people in my college town wearing. So I went to university in Brighton, which is a very alternative city. It's not unusual for people to wear things that are quite out there. There were a lot of people who used to wear what me and my husband jokingly call development studies pants, which is whenever you go to a foreign country in Southeast Asia, a lot of India, parts of Africa, you get these very thin cotton trousers with elephant print on them. And sometimes in freezing winter, there would be people at my university who would wear those to be oh, it's so bohemian. And I was definitely aware of how that looked, but I was also really trying to find my own. And I, having come from India where nobody who's actually Indian wears those things, I was trying to find my own vibe of actually what my fashion sense looked like. So I would mix and experiment with lots of different things, but I definitely had some moments where I was like, this is weird, why am I wearing this? But notably, I also gained a lot of weight at this point in my life. So I guess it's worth noting that I really found dressing myself hard and very stressful. And I miss my teenage body, and I really struggled to wear the right things and look the way I wanted to look at the right places. I'm also generally a conservative dresser. I don't love to show skin, so I didn't know how to look modern and cool and also professional and like I knew what I was doing. So when I got in my 30s, I think I started being more experimental and creative with my fashion. Because I grew up in India, I liked the idea of having Indian prints and styles, and so I actively started to look for how I could incorporate these textiles and prints into my daily routine, and that felt like home. So one of my favorites is wearing Jaipur block print. It's mostly on cotton, which helps me feel comfortable, and I often choose light or pastel colors. And also the prints are comforting and remind me of grannies and being home, so I try to blend those in a lot. I also really love the idea of my clothes lasting, so I bought a couple of more dressy things that are classic and won't go out of style, and I now wear things like kurtas under overalls and even things like cute Indian style headbands on Western outfits. And I feel like it really helps me look and feel like me. Another important element is color. I think growing up, I thought that wearing black would make me look classic, and I'm sure that's still true in ultra high fashion circles, but I now try and wear colors in a palette that I'm generally that are generally warm toned. So I wear things like earthy colors, browns, reds, oranges, and pinks. And when I do wear blue and green, I try to like pick warmer shades of those colors. I feel like it really complements my skin tone. This way, a lot of my wardrobe kind of feels cohesive with each other. And when I have one particular thing wear out or need to be replaced, I can often replace items that I need and they'll still work as a whole. When I was in college, my roommate introduced me to the idea of a capsule wardrobe where all the elements kind of work together. And even though I'm not quite there yet, I am starting to feel like most of my clothes work together in some fashion or the other. I also use a lot of my Indian jewelry and bracelets, and every time I put together an outfit lately, I feel really happy and confident, which I think is the point of fashion anyway. And finally, my last trick is to always try things on. I know with online shopping, this isn't always possible, but I try to try clothes on in stores as much as possible. And it's been such a game changer. A lot of the time, I realize that by trying things on, I almost fill that want in my heart right away. It stops me buying things I do not need, and it makes sure that the things that I do buy, I really, really love and can get a lot of use out of. Anyway, if fashion has ever made you feel intimidated, here's your chance to experiment. Get out there and make messy things. See what happens. Try stuff on. Play around, experiment. Really, there are no rules. And as long as you're having fun, the possibilities are endless.